Good morning. Good morning. Long live the pubcast, baby.
A pubcast. See, that would have been a good name too.
Pubcast?
Yeah. Just pubcast.
Just pubcast.
That would have worked.
It's Taps and Takes, dude. Episode 4. You know what? Colleen is on my ass right now. She's like, why don't you do it as a sub episode to the normal episode? So if you're on episode 6 now, it should be episode 6.5. And I'm like, shh.
Who wants to put decimals into anything?
Yeah. I was like, Colleen.
Especially when there's beautiful Guinness involved.
Oh, you mean like my wonderful non-alcoholic drought Guinness Zero?
Or this very alcoholic Guinness.
Guinness, just regular Guinness.
Cheers.
Hold on, here. Ooh. Oh, my. Hold on. Let me make sure that we get this in the camera here. Oh, yeah.
That's a split.
Oh, you split the G. You're getting better.
I've gotten alarmingly better.
You are getting better.
I'm getting scary good at it.
Welcome to Taps and Takes, baby. Live from Groggs at the northeast corner of Willow and Knees, where we talk all the nerd news, all the sports news on a Friday, baby. Get them flat backs flattened.
Got a gator roll.
And now I am drinking. I hardly ever drink non-alcoholic beer. You know what I mean? I've been sober for 17 years. But one of the beers that I miss the most out of all the beers is by far the Guinness.
What's your Mount Rushmore beer?
When it comes to decent beer?
Your top four.
Hefeweizen, Guinness. Guinness and Hefeweizen are my two faves. Okay. I like myself a Fat Tire, like a Belgian.
Okay.
I like, the problem is that I never got to try any of the craft beer. The craft beer scene.
All the crafties.
It kicked off after I quit drinking. So what I know is like the Boston Lagers. You know what I mean? The Boston Lager.
I got a soft spot for Boston Lagers.
Dude,
the Sam Adams Boston Lager. That's a good one. I'd probably put, let's see, Guinness at 1.
Mm-hmm.
This is already tough. Guinness at 1. I'd put Asahi at 4. Asahi
at 4.
I like a dry Japanese
Why
beer.
aren't you going in order?
I'm going by presidents and like where they'd be on faces.
Okay. So you're doing the Mount Rushmore of beers for you. You got Guinness as
he's Washington.
G-Dub.
He's Washington for sure. Yeah. No, Asahi would probably be Teddy. He'd be Teddy. He'd be Teddy. Let's see. You got to throw like an everyday beer. An everyday beer is a Coors. So Coors would be probably at 2.
Okay.
I might be throwing Sam Adams in at 4.
Okay.
I might be throwing him in at 4. Is that crazy?
No. So mine would be Guinness, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, I'm not kissing the butt just because we're in a traditional Irish pub.
I might be kissing a little bit.
This is before they open, and we have free reign to speak how we believe.
So true.
Guinness would be number 1 for me. If we're going like an everyday beer for me that's being thrown in, Miller High Life, baby.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
But the Guinness, the Sam Adams, the Hefeweizen, the Fat Tire, these things are, oh man, it would be hard to pick. But by far the Guinness, and let me tell you, this right here, it's
nice.
It's just about as much as I remember, doggy, without the booze. So anyways, with that being said, we got to get to all the nerd news, meaning all the news. We're scrapping it and we're talking about Severance for like 30 minutes straight.
I'm not against it. I'm not opposed to it.
My good God.
It's the best show. I've been telling you guys on the Do-Over for weeks now.
Hold on.
You put me on game. I give you credit.
I called you. I was like, dude, I see this show. Sarah's watching. And this is not like a Sarah thing.
Right.
Like this show is not a Sarah show. And I'm walking by and I'm checking it out here and there. And I'm like, oh man, okay. Maybe this is something that, I could get down on and like, I'll call Jams.
We like brainy stuff. This is brainy stuff.
So I called Jams. 2 days later, he's like, oh man, we rushed through all of it.
Yep.
Okay. So I finally found time because I've been like super slam busy, right? Finally found time to sit and binge watch Severance. And holy shit, it is so fucking awesome, dude.
It's the best show streaming. It's the best show on television by a mile.
It is
by a country mile.
It is so cleverly written. Ben Stiller.
To think that Ben Stiller,
I know,
is this brainy is crazy.
It's crazy, but Severance is a must watch. We'll get into it on the next episode of the Do Over podcast. Right now, episode 6, Good Guy Greg, where we talk to Greg.
Yeah,
comes in and he talks about his time in the military and reintegrating back into civilian life and AI girlfriends and all that stuff. Link in our bio. You could go check that out. And also remember, if you like the nerd news, the sports news, this is every Friday.
Every Friday.
Remember to like and subscribe and comment. Okay. Anything to help us grow the channel. We're almost a partner. So go sub. It is free. Now, Elliot.
Yes.
What's all the nerd news as you bring for me?
I got a couple of things here. A little lighter than like last week, but a little bit, yeah. Some stuff coming up. We got the first look of Carl Urban's Johnny Cage for Mortal Kombat 2, which is coming out this year. I totally forgot that movie was coming out this year.
Carl Urban's doing Johnny Cage?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's doing it. And we got like the first little photo of him, and he looks Johnny Cage-esque. He doesn't look bad.
No, he actually looks a lot better than I thought he was going to look.
Yeah.
Here's the question, though.
Yeah.
Is he going to do the proper training to do that nut punch when he splits and goes...
If you're doing Johnny Cage, you got to learn. You got to learn the nut punch.
You got to learn the splits.
You got to learn the splits.
You got to learn
whether
the nut
you like
punch.
it or not.
No,
you're gonna have to learn.
You're gonna have to do it, dude.
Yeah. Or you make it painfully obvious. You're gonna make fun of it, and you just kick somebody in the nards.
What do you mean?
Just like everybody's expecting it. You know, he's like the guy's all groggy, and instead of like doing it, he just punts the hell into somebody's nards. Just a full like football punt. And just like, what, were you expecting the splits? And then you were like, this guy.
No, this is meta.
Yeah,
this is
meta. We're so clever.
Right.
Yeah. Just don't bring back the pro tag.
No. Yeah, the protagonist.
He brought nothing to it.
Do you know how excited I was for Mortal Kombat? Like,
and it looked awesome.
It looked so fucking good. And then, what do we get? We get the lamest protagonist. I understand what they were doing, but they gave him... You know what I like? This is what I like about the Mortal Kombat-ness of it all. I liked it and I disliked it. Let me clarify. So I like that they spent a portion of the movie explaining how these normal humans have these powers.
Sure.
They're like, okay, when you're marked, it unlocks something. It's kind of like going Super Saiyan. Like you have to find it.
Okay, totally cool. Get that.
That's fine. It was not necessary.
It wasn't. But I don't mind the nether magic shenanigans.
Yes. So I was like, okay, cool. They explain why normal humans have these things, right? Okay, cool. I'm okay with that. But then they give the protagonist just about the dumbest fucking things. Like didn't he have 2 kendo sticks and armor?
I thought so. I'm trying to remember, and it was essentially just a gold t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
at the end of the day.
It was so lame.
And like to take out, he fought Gordo, right?
Goro.
He fought Goro, one of the like most unstoppable monsters in Mortal Kombat that gives video game players nightmares.
Yeah.
And he just gets a t-shirt and he whoops his ass. Like, give him some. And isn't he like from the family of Scorpion?
He is part.
Give him Hellfire or something cool.
He is part of the lineage of Scorpion.
And they give him a gold t-shirt.
You couldn't give him a fucking... You know, like the
give
whole
him the
like,
chain.
No, or go back old school to the first movie where it was like a bird mouth
thing. Yeah.
And he goes like this and it comes out of his hand. Why not? Give him something cool, man.
Yeah. They totally goofed.
They did.
They goofed on it. But that and I love that Kung Lao can just never catch a break in anything.
What do you mean?
Because like he's in the first one.
Yeah.
Him and I'm drawing a blank. Liu Kang, yeah. And like they're the 2 monks, and you're thinking like, oh, the boys are back in town,
right? Yeah.
And Kung Lao, if I remember correct, I haven't seen the movie in so long. I'm pretty sure he has like a cool kill in the movie, and then he immediately gets his neck snapped.
He immediately gets killed. Yeah,
and you're like, no justice for this boy. No justice. Let's move on though, because we'll stick with video game adjacent news because Metal Gear Snake Eater the remake is coming. Metal Gear. Yeah. But apparently there was a leak on the PlayStation Store of when the game's going to be coming out.
Snake Eater?
Yeah.
And what are they calling it? Metal Gear Delta or something like that?
Yeah. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater.
Yeah,
it looks awesome.
It looks good.
It's one of the games I've been looking forward to for a long time.
Yeah.
They're saying that it'll be released August 28th, 2025.
Okay, that's coming up.
Yeah, I mean, it could get closer. We could wrap this up. We could get straight to it.
If they're baking it to make sure that it's done properly, I'm okay with that. You know what? So the beta for Monster Hunter World Wilds, okay, which if you're not familiar with Monster Hunter, let me kind of try to quantify it for you so you can understand what makes this game special, okay? Is that the very early iterations of Monster Hunter were very hardcore games. Very hardcore games. Well, that's something that Asian markets have a tendency to really dive into, and their player base is a little bit more apt to work through a very hardcore game. Like you had a plan in order how to kill the monster you're going. I mean, the mechanics were a little bit difficult. It wasn't easy. It got progressively more quality of life as time goes on. And then around Monster Hunter 3 or 4, Try was pretty good, but Monster Hunter 4 is when Western audiences really started playing Monster Hunter.
Started picking up.
And the whole gameplay loop is there's no like levels. You kill progressively stronger monsters and you harvest their parts like their skin and their bones in order to build badass armor sets that make you more powerful, that in turn lets you go. So the gameplay loop is brilliant, right? Well, the biggest Capcom game of all time is Monster Hunter World,
which is crazy to think when you have
Street Fighter,
Resident Evil, Mega Man, all those things. And I mean, I've never been too into those games. I know you're a big Monster Hunter guy.
So Monster Hunter World came out. The one after that, Rise, was good, but it was like a Switch exclusive. Took a year to come out on PC. It's going to be multi-platform, day one release. I've been playing the beta. Holy shit. It is so gorgeous. So good, dude. And this is coming out at the end of the month.
Oh,
like it, dude. It may be taking a lot of my time, doggy.
That's fine. You've earned this. You've been kicking ass and taking names with work. You've earned a little time.
I feel like I have earned time, Elliot. Thank you very much. Now I need you to get an audio recording of that. Ooh, right here. Yeah. And then we're going to send that to Sarah.
That's
we're going to be like, hey, guess what? Drew deserves Monster Hunter time.
You know what she should do?
What?
She should watch this episode.
Yeah.
Boom.
What do you do? Give me my next story.
All right. Magic the Gathering. We talked a little nerd stuff last week. Dude, my memory is so shot. But Hollywood Reporter says that Hasbro is working with Legendary Entertainment to create Magic the Gathering universe. It's going to be doing TV shows as well as movies. So it's going to have its own cinematic universe. Can I say one thing?
Yes.
I'm not poo-pooing on Magic the Gathering. I'm actually very excited because my cousin way back when showed me cards. I thought these were cool. I could just never get into it.
Right.
I'm tired of the phrase cinematic universe.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of burnt out. I'm burnt out of it. We need a new thing. Cinematic. You can't be a cinematic universe for every project.
You know what people don't think about when it comes to cinematic universes is that it drastically impedes what you can do because you have to make sure that all the events and all of the canon
are leading towards one or two different things.
It all works together.
Yeah.
Because you can't break canon on properties that are all supposed to be like a historical take or a canonical events moving forward. So you really limit yourself on what you can do. Now, with that being said, though, I remember playing Magic when it first came out, like Magic cards.
Yeah.
And the art on those cards were so sick. And the world and lore wrapped around it is so fucking tight.
Like if I were to get into cards, I'm not saying I will, it wasn't going to be Yu-Gi-Oh!
No.
It wasn't going to be Pokemon. It would have been Magic. Maybe Digimon because that first like animated show
Digital
was
Monsters,
sick.
Digimon.
That first season was sick. But other than that, like I just couldn't get into them.
You know what I've been into lately, and I don't know why? Watching these grown-ass men just break through like hundreds of packs of Pokemon cards on like chasing cards.
Oh yeah. Dude.
Try to like pull these fucking expensive ass cards, but they spend thousands of dollars to try to do it.
Oh, no.
You're crazy, dude. No, how do they even afford that?
A good buddy of mine does that kind of stuff with sports cards.
Really?
Like he works for a company that opens cards and you can like buy.
Okay, can we talk about this? Because I put this in the notes. We didn't get to it. There's this company called Whatnot, not sponsored, okay, but you're seeing a lot of ads for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically like you pay for a box, they catalog the cards, you break it, you pick the ones you want out of the break or whatever.
Right.
And then they like resell the other ones or something like that. And I'm like, how can you be sure that they're not just pulling the best cards for themselves in terms of rarity? You know what I mean? Like,
I get you. So a buddy of mine, he's actually he's a breaker. And so what you do is like, he'll have like, all right, we're doing baseball cards today.
Okay.
And you can buy the team. You buy the team. And so you could get like a potential like $1,000 rookie card.
Right.
If that team pops up. Now, I believe there's one card for every team minimum. So like you're getting one card at least. So you can spend like $200 on the Mets. But if you get one of the Mets' best players and a rookie card, it's worth $500, $600.
Sports cards are wild now because they'll have like a piece of the jersey in the card with like a signature on it.
And there's like different forms. There's like the holograph ones. There's the rookie ones. There's these different style ones. And it's like they're all worth different values. It's interesting for sure.
It's interesting, but like, here's the thing. I am in my later stages of life now because I'm turning 41 in like 3 weeks. I don't need anything else that's going to cost me money. I'm finally to that point, Elliot.
Wow, like, you're becoming me.
Yeah. I did the PC stuff. I did the cameras, the guns, like all this stuff. Like I've done the things that cost the money. And I'm like, I don't think I need anything else that's going to cost me more money, dude.
So you're telling me if you saw like a new cool gun, you'd be like, I would want to.
Oh, no, definitely.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm like sitting here counting down the clock.
You just picked arguably the most expensive things to get into.
Guns are way cheaper than cameras. Cameras are expensive as shit.
Well, if you think about it, guns can get you cameras. Cameras got a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
All I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. All of a sudden.
Chiefsaholic be crazy.
No. Shout out Horn Photo. We give them our money because we love Horn Photo.
We do.
Now, continue.
All right. It is the week of Captain America. It's Captain America week. Early reviews. It's about 50% right now on Rotten Tomato.
Yeah.
So it's... You either love it or hate it.
Right.
A lot of people are saying the action's dope.
That's the Red Hulk in it. That's cool.
Yeah. And they're saying that Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford are the shining things. I mean, you always know you're going to get a good Harrison Ford because he's just Harrison Ford at this
he's
point.
Just himself. He's grumpy ass Harrison Ford.
But they also,
what am I doing here?
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of people also feel it feels pretty flat.
Really?
Like the action's cool. The story pretty. I've been reading things. It feels like an Incredible Hulk like wrap up.
Okay.
Which Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton Jr.
Did it say
like 20 years ago?
Spoilers. Does it say he makes a cameo in it?
No, it doesn't. I haven't read anything like that, but it says that they're like tying up loose ends for like old movies to lead into the new MCU kind of world, which I get is fine, but there's been they had so many reshoots. I feel like when you have reshoots, that's already a recipe for disaster most of the time.
I disagree. Reshoots are a good thing. That means someone watched it. They're like, this is not up to our standard. We need to reshoot this to make it is, or to make sure it is.
I get that.
So that's fine. Reshoots is fine. What the problem is that the need of this movie, it's not really a need. It's more so probably a contractual obligation or a fill-in from one to the other. Because I'm going to tell you right now, we may not see eye to eye in this, but Thunderbolts looks great. Like, I'm so fucking pumped for Thunderbolts. Way more than I thought I was going to be. Sentry's going to be in Thunderbolts. That's going to be so sick. The Sentry is so sick, dude.
No, the Sentry's cool. But the Sentry is also one of the strongest beings in Marvel.
He's the strongest, like pretty much the
He's
strongest
essentially
being.
Superman, right?
But what's compelling about his character... Hold on. Before we get to this, let's finish Captain America.
Captain America, all right?
Okay. I'm still going to see it.
You going to see it in theaters?
I'm going to see it in theaters.
Oh, okay.
I want to see what they do with the Red Hulk. I want to see, because they're actually saying things like adamantium, right?
Right.
And I don't know if this has any connection, but they're calling the metal that they're harvesting from the Celestial that came from the Eternals, came from the sea, right? Tiamat. They're calling the metal adamantium. And I'm wondering if they're calling it that. That's why they named Tiamat, because it's adamantium.
Right, because they got it from it, right.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's clever. So that means that they were planning that all the way back
at Eternals
5-6 years ago when they were making Eternals. So I'm like, okay, well, they're saying they're starting to sprinkle in a little bit of
the universe
and
again,
X-Men and universe. So I'm like, okay, let me see what they do. It's more of a grounded film, whatever. Falcon and Winter Soldier, me and Royce and you were talking about it. Shout out Royce off air. Wasn't the biggest fan, but it wasn't as bad. I mean, I thought it was kind of cool how Bucky was going around trying to make amends to the people that he harmed when he was brainwashed. I thought that was cool, but they dealt with some pretty significant like social issues that can be handled with softer hands, right? And that's just, it makes it a better movie. It's done in a softer way, right? It did not get me excited for individual Sam Wilson Captain America movie.
Well, I'm just going to be honest. Falcon and Winter Soldier, for that matter, have never really been characters I was too into. Captain America Winter Soldier was an awesome movie.
It's a great movie.
Awesome movie. Right?
It was a great movie, but it was also like slightly an Avengers film. And then
slightly
Civil War was Avengers 2.5.
Right.
Yeah. I just want to see what they're going to be setting up, because what's coming future from Marvel is what I'm most excited about. I think that they're kind of going to be letting go of the things that aren't that compelling, and they're going to be moving into new space that I really want to see how they're teeing it up.
I only care about 3 things Marvel now at this point, and that is X-Men, Fantastic Four
looks
and
so
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 things I want. Like Spider-Man 4, give us something different. Maybe give us a symbiote. Maybe give us Green Goblin. I don't know. But give us something, and give us like a kind of broken Spider-Man. Because at the end of
Spider-Man Far From Home?
No Way Home. Right?
No Way Home.
No Way Home,
No
right?
Way Home.
Give us a broken Peter on his own, trying to figure it out. Give us a lot of Spider-Man screen time, right? X-Men. Introduce us.
Right.
Whether it's the First Class or whether it's a new Logan or something. Give us something. And then give us a Fantastic Four that actually doesn't suck.
I think Fantastic Four is going to be great. I
think Fantastic Four and Superman are both going to blow people away.
I think it's going to be excellent. I am legit. When they announced it, I was not too pumped on it. After seeing the trailer, the Super Bowels trailer, I'm kind of pumped on Thunderbolts. Like, I'm kind of excited to see it. I love how self-aware it is when they're like, wait, all we do is punch and shoot. Like, no one can fly. Like, what are we dealing with here? And the Sentry is such a huge threat to like have to deal with the Sentry when you have just the squad that you have. The trailer looked great. The music was great. You know, the way that they're filming it as kind of like it reminds me of fun, action-packed Marvel movies that were actually like funny. They're somewhat comedic, but they have the right tones, and they're an anti-hero squad. I hear a lot of people like comparing it to
Suicide Squad.
I mean, that's unfair.
I mean, that's like, but I mean, they're not wrong in the comparison.
But they're not necessarily right either.
But it's essentially, and if we're going to compare, it's essentially Suicide Squad versus Superman.
Yeah.
And with that logic, and this is just my casual logic, how are they even a threat to Sentry?
So here's why I think the Sentry is a cool character, and Marvel has a good tendency to do this. If you know the comic book, they're probably not going to go full comic book accurate version of the Sentry, because it's kind of twisted and has to do with like drug addiction. And, you know, he basically got his powers by breaking into a lab and shooting himself up, thinking that he was going to get high. Right. And then because of his addiction, he has this broken psyche and gets these crazy powers. But because of that, there's like another personality that comes out called the Void.
Right.
And the Void's like this uber evil, powerful being. Right. Having that in your version of Superman is that, yeah, you have this dude that is so fucking overpowered. Like, if you look at the power set of the Sentry, It is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, isn't it like a couple billion suns or something?
Yeah, it's like he has the power of like 1,000 imploding suns or stars. He is just way overpowered. But his problem is that he does have that broken psyche, and the void takes him over, and he's constantly like trying to fight the void. Like that makes a compelling, overpowered character. And they did something in the comics where basically something was done a la, Spider-Man, where he makes the world forget that his existence was even a thing. Mm-hmm. And he kind of like exists in plain sight, but no one remembers him kind of a deal. I think the Sentry is going to be one of the coolest characters, but how do they handle the Sentry when you're leading into Avengers and, a bigger question, Doomsday and Secret Wars?
Right.
He's too powerful.
Well, do you kill him off? Because
I don't
that's
think
what
they
Marvel.
should.
That's what Marvel does.
I don't think they should.
Marvel movies have a villain for one movie and one movie only, and they get rid of them.
Well, I don't like the one and done stuff either, but I don't think they should kill off the Sentry. I think that's such a bad move.
Well,
to kill off the Sentry is the dumbest thing in the world.
All right, follow up. Because he is this overpowered being.
He will be, because standard casuals that don't know about the Sentry, they're going to be pumped on his character. They're going to be like the casual movie going audience are going to be so excited about him as a character when they come out of that
to
movie.
The Shadow Realm.
He was. There's a like, and that shit's crazy, dude. Like, he's a crazy ass character.
Do you think they teased Doom
in Thunderbolts?
Yeah, because Sentry. I'm thinking of how they could beat him, right?
Yeah,
and the only way I see them beating him is talk no jutsu.
Talk no jutsu is the only way.
Like honestly, because he's so overpowered.
Yeah.
Bucky's probably going to have to be the guy talking about redemption and stuff, which he was wearing a Congress button on his.
He's a congressman.
Who voted for this guy?
He used to be wet working.
Dude, he killed
Soviet
JFK.
Spy. Yeah.
And Tony Stark's dad. Like, who voted for this guy?
Well, in the comic book world, dude, he's reformed now.
Hey, look. He may have done some horrible things in the past, but he doesn't miss.
Yeah, he's maybe killed the president or two, but don't worry about that.
But you see that metal arm? That there's Ceck, all right? And that's my congressman.
Yeah. Can I sit and have a beer with Bucky? Well, I'm going to vote for that guy right there.
I want to see him crush a beer and then add it to his arm for armor. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right.
So I'm excited about Thunderbolts. I think it's going to be a good movie. I think it's going to be way better than anyone else thought. I think Captain America is going to be just as good as everyone thought.
I think it's going to have polar opposites. I think Captain America, a lot of people are going to see it and it's going to be pretty meh.
Yeah.
And probably Thunderbolts is going to be a lot better, but not as many people are going to see it.
Yeah, probably. Now, let's end on this. The full trailer for How to Train Your Dragon. Or do you have any more stories?
I've got a bit of a rant
about
Invincible.
Okay, we'll get to that. Let's do this real quick, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be a day one at How to Train Your Dragon.
Absolutely.
I'm in. We'll be there holding hands, buddy.
No, I will mandate a mandate for that.
Yeah, I'm mandating a mandate.
You know what I'm going to do
right now for How to Train Your Dragon.
I'm probably going to watch the movies to get me pumped up for it the week of.
Dude.
Because it looks good.
It looks excellent. And I'm going to cry because the first How to Train Your Dragon made me cry.
The second one I thought was even sadder.
It was even sadder.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, those movies, as a franchise, those movies are great. And like, yes.
Not a single miss.
We can be kind of the surly, almost middle-aged white men that we are and be like, do we really need to have live action? My point is that I think things just hit differently in live action if done right.
Yeah.
And it looks really good. It looks like a really, how do I put this? It looks like a really faithful adaptation of the cartoon. It looks
incredibly faithful.
Right? Like it looks really, and look, like that's fine.
Yeah, and look.
I'm going to take my girls.
I get it. People are going to be like, can we get some real movies and not just remakes and reboots and reanimated? Like, I get it. Fine. We want original stuff. Sure you do. But this looks great.
It does. And it looks so good.
And the people who are behind the animated ones are a part of this one. And they brought Gerard Butler back and he looks great.
And he looks great.
Like just enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right.
Just try to enjoy it. Stop being a bitch.
Will it be as good as the first one? Probably not.
Yeah.
Let's keep it a buck. Probably not. But is it going to be great and fun and set the next generation of fans? Absolutely.
Absolutely it will. And then I'm going to take my daughters to see it. Hopefully they can handle sitting through a movie by then.
They're at the age they should be able to.
I mean, they sat almost through the whole thing of Wicked.
All right.
That's like a 3-hour film. So
you saw Wicked?
I did not.
Oh.
Sarah took.
Okay. I want to take just a second here.
Okay. Is this just a second?
Because we got to talk about.
Just a second?
Just a second. We just got to talk about. We got to talk.
So does it cut in?
Like right as I'm about to say it, you're supposed to cut into it, you know?
Okay.
Like the show. Season 3, the first 3 episodes came out last Thursday.
Yeah.
I've been a huge Invincible stan since day one.
Yeah. You were in.
And I'm still in. And I might be even more in now. But there's becoming this issue that I'm noticing with Invincible that people just will not shut up about. And it is the animation.
Okay.
Invincible animation looks so ass. It looks so mid. Why can't we just imagine if it had JJK animation or like, shut up.
Is that what you're seeing? Is that the discourse on Twitter that you're saying?
Yes. And look,
God.
I actually have a fairly good Twitter feed. I just follow movie entertainment.
Right.
And my blog at rantsnetwork.com.
Oh, rantsnetwork.com right here. Rantsnetwork.com.
But Invincible might be one of the best superhero shows we've had in decades.
Yeah, it's good.
It is so good. Every voice actor is incredible. Steven Yeun, a masterclass. J.K. Rowling, masterclass. J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. Yeah. I said it and I messed. I knew it the second one.
Not J.K. Rowling's.
No. Seth Rogen. Yeah.
She's outgoing. She is on Twitter.
She'd be like, aliens? No.
Yeah, aliens. No, they're not welcome here.
Yeah. What is he? Transforming?
Yeah,
disgusting. Anyway.
Those aliens are real women.
There's not a bad part about the show. Walt Goggins is incredible as Cecil. And Cecil has a great backstory that we get to see this season. And it's peak.
Walt Goggins is just good in anything that he does.
He's great. Not good. He's great in everything.
He's great in everything he does. But, as Baby Billy is one of the best characters.
But season 3's out. The first 3 episodes are incredible. The writing's fantastic. And all you hear, rather than how good the show is, rather than how great everybody's doing, this animation sucks. Did you see that one frame at one single millisecond where the mask went from not that? Shut up.
Okay, can I?
Hang on. Just let me go.
Okay. All right.
I grew up in a time where the Justice League Unlimited, Batman in the animated series, Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, all those, they weren't animes, but they were fine animations and great portrayals of those heroes.
Right.
Invincible is in the same art style as that Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Is it for everybody? No. Should be, because it's that good of a show. But you know how you help animators get more time to animate and to give them a better budget? You watch the shows. You give them support by watching it weekly. So watch Invincible. It's one of the best shows Amazon Prime's ever had and probably ever will have.
Let me say something.
You can say something.
I want to say something. I agree with you that you should kind of look past some of the just standard American. I consider Invincible's animation to be American style animation.
Very American.
It's very
Western. And that's
very
fine.
Western. Okay. And it's fine. The ending of episode 1, season 1.
Yes.
Where that action was happening was sick as f***.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the fights.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2 lost a lot of that.
So,
and that's where the payoff, how do I put this? They pay off for that level of animation is when you do have stints of action that is drawn like that. That is the payoff for kind of going through that style of animation. And I don't see it. That's the problem.
Question. Have you finished season 2?
No. Because I don't think season 2 was as good as season 1.
But you haven't finished it.
I will.
But you can't, it's not fair to say that without watching it.
But there was more of that dispersed through season 1 that it seemed to be in season.
What part of season 2 did you stop?
Episode 5.
So did you watch the Viltrumite fight?
No, then episode 4.
Okay. The Viltrumite fight is a bloody, gory time, which Invincible is great at. And then the finale is also solid action.
I do love how gory Invincible can get.
Season 3 locks you right back in.
Really?
They focus heavily on the action in the first 3 episodes. And I can't tell you because you haven't watched it, so I'm not going to spoil it, but the characters are getting more muddled with their morals.
Got it.
And what's coming ahead, what's coming up this season is going to lead into so much more action and so much more fights that are going to be even better. And Mark is at this point now where him and Cecil are now officially like at war.
Mm-hmm.
It is so good. And for people to be like, oh yeah, but the animation, blah, shut up and just enjoy it for the ride. And it's only going to get better with time.
Okay. So here's the thing.
Watch Invincible.
I'll watch Invincible. Watch Invincible. Watch Severance. Okay.
Severance first. Invincible second.
Next week on Taps and Takes, I'll tell you what I thought of Captain America. Okay. Because I'm going to go see it.
Okay.
So we'll do that. And we're going to take a little break. We're going to come back. Not only are we going to talk about sports, but remember, St. Patrick's Day is coming up.
It's right around the corner. It's 30 days, 30 days, 22 hours, 15 minutes.
We have a day of recording. We have a countdown right here.
That feels like the fastest clock. Look how fast those seconds are. Those aren't seconds.
No. The second one's
No, that's minutes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, seconds is flying.
Anyway, stay here. We'll be right back. Big shout out to Groggs Traditional Irish Pub, found right there on the northeast corner of Willow and Knees. Go by, tell them that the Do-Over sent you, drink some Guinness, take a shot at JMO, get that pickle back like Jess did this episode. Yeesh. But literally, they're the absolute best. I love Groggs. And remember, St. Patty's Day is coming up. Get ready. That's right, baby. Groggs at the northeast corner of Willow and Knees. Go by, say hi. Hey, you know what? On St. Patrick's Day, wouldn't it be cool if, like, we were here also doing Taps and Takes?
I mean, that would be pretty flippin' sweet, my man.
It would be pretty flippin' sweet.
Like to, I don't know, share a Guinness or two.
At 10:30 in the morning, like it is right now, before Groggs open, where Elliott's drinking.
What are you talking about? What?
It's like you walk into a room with your little Guinness stash and you're like, huh? What's the deal? Okay, stop looking at your lips like that. Stop doing that. Anyways, more details on that later, but we may be doing a Do-Over podcast / Groggs Takeover on St. Patrick's Day right here on location. So stay tuned for details on that. Yeah, it's gonna be rather cool. Maybe, just maybe, if you follow us, we can throw you on the mic. Maybe. Even in your drunky state. Should be cool. Should be fun.
I don't know.
I say why not? Should be fun.
Look, I like the thought of it.
Yeah.
I love the thought of it.
I mean, you're drunky right now and you're on a mic.
Come on.
Okay, yeah.
Come on.
You're about on the back end of alcoholism right now.
I do think though, it would be funny to do one podcast drunk.
I can't.
No, I know
you can.
I know you can't. Now, I don't think we could do the 3 hours. I think I'd fall asleep by then.
Yeah, you would.
But like if we were just a solid wicked buzz.
Maybe we can facilitate that with you and Jess on Taps and Takes, right? Well, like you guys, you get at it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I'll try to,
steer the ship.
Yes. I'll try to steer the car as the DD. Yeah.
Okay. I just feel like now that I've been very like keep it radio PG-13.
Yeah.
Like I don't cuss.
You don't.
I don't. I'm trying to stay that way. But you have a cocktail or 6. I think
maybe they fly out a little bit.
I think it would make it interesting.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
Well, we'll leave it at that. But right now it's time to do all of our sports news. And because of copyright, we can't do the Prop It Like It's Hot anymore.
No.
But you know what? It kind of played its purpose because we're in a weird lull of sports for the foreseeable future until March happens. But I do want to bring this up. Who was right? Who was right, Elliott?
That was you.
Who was right?
Oh, you should have air horned. There you go.
Who was right?
You called it.
Oh my God.
You called Eagles by 10 or more.
Let's do the Super Bowls recap.
Yeah, let's cover it.
Okay.
If you can even call it a game.
It was an unprecedented blowout.
From the second the game started, it felt like Kansas City never even showed up.
No.
They looked, dare I say, candy ass.
Oh, they got their asses whooped so bad that it was like mathematically impossible in the fourth quarter for them to win.
You know, I think the second they lost that first tush push, they knew they weren't built for it.
Really?
What
happened? What happened?
What happened is
that they've been winning games by 3 points all season, and then finally their little bullshit tactics weren't going to work.
I don't necessarily think it was that. I think a lot of us, myself included, thought, all right, we've seen this before. Everybody wants Kansas City to lose, but Patrick Mahomes is so clutch. He's just going to find a way to win.
Right.
And we're all going to be mad about it. You know, we've seen it for like 2 years now. Like the Chiefs last year weren't winning games like they used to. They weren't blowing teams out. Their defense kind of carried them. Mahomes did just enough to win the games.
Just enough. But they've been doing that for years.
For 2 seasons now, right?
Yeah.
And this year, they looked even better at it. And what I think we all a lot of us did, we're so used to like champions being champions and, oh, we've seen this before, Eagles, Chiefs, you know, it's going to be the same rinse and repeat. All of us didn't take the Eagles serious enough.
Mm-mm.
And when you look at all their numbers, when you look at all their stats, they've been the best team in football all year, and it wasn't really close.
And if you look back to 2 years ago, because this is a repeat of 2022 Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, 2022. Let's talk about the fact that they managed to get back to the Super Bowl within a 5-year stint, right? Like they managed to get back, and people weren't really giving them the credit that like, okay, yeah, it was a close game the last time they played. Chiefs won by 3.
Yep.
Okay.
And it was because of Patrick Mahomes' drive to end the game.
Yeah. It was a close game last time. It wasn't even close.
No.
This time. It was
the Eagles
insane.
And the Eagles deserve a ton of credit for building their roster. They went through the draft and picked up a disgusting defense. Their free agents were incredible. They had,
as Jess would say, Daddy say.
I mean, he was great. He was good.
He didn't really do a lot during the Super Bowl.
And the Chiefs, they said, we're not going to let Saquon Barkley beat us. Jalen Hurts said, I'm going to beat you. Right. And then the defense said, we're going to break you.
Dude, how many turnovers was there?
There was 3 total turnovers, 2 interceptions, and a forced fumble, 6 sacks on the game. Josh Sweat from the Eagles with 2.5 alone.
Fucking wild, dude.
They didn't blitz the Chiefs once. They sent 4 the whole game and pressured him almost 40% of the time.
No way.
The Eagles defense was the difference. They were up until Jalen Hurts threw that touchdown late in the third quarter to Devontae Smith, that deep ball.
Mm-hmm.
I thought one of the defensive players was going to win MVP.
Really?
Because they were that good. I mean, the defense alone got them essentially 14 points with the pick 6 and then getting an interception right at essentially the goal line. The Eagles defense was dominant. And Patrick Mahomes never had a second to even move.
He didn't.
But he was out of sorts from the beginning.
He was so frustrated. Like you could tell the whole game, he was just mad. He kind of accepted their loss by the third. By the third, he was just like...
I felt like the Chiefs knew they were going to lose within the second quarter.
You think?
The game's 17-0 going into halftime, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was 17-0.
It was 17-0. And then you have a chance, Patrick Mahomes, you get the ball back to start the second half to really like, okay, game on. If you score this touchdown, game on.
Right.
So flat. I think you're supposed to adjust at halftime. There was no adjustment.
No.
It just felt like
there was no inspirational speeches there was, in that locker room that was getting him all
They were just defeated. They were defeated. And the Eagles clamped down, and they were the best team in football, so they deserve all the credit in the world, and I was so pathetically wrong.
And there's still no three-peat. The only other team that got close to doing this was...
Green Bay Packers back in the 60s.
I thought, wait. I thought the New England Patriots had a chance to do it, and then they got beat by the Giants.
No. So funny enough, the Eagles, their 2 Super Bowl wins. One was against the Patriots. It went Patriots, Eagles, Patriots.
No way.
So the Eagles stopped not 1 3-peat, but 2 3-peats.
No way. So the Eagles, they're a pretty good franchise. Like, because, I mean, so they have 2 Super Bowl wins in the past, 10 years, 15 years?
10 years or so, yeah.
10 years. So they have
and they've been to 3, in the last probably decade. So, I mean,
that's a pretty good record considering.
They're a good franchise this century.
This decade.
This decade.
No.
Well, this century too. Like this the 2020, like 2000s and up. The Eagles been a good franchise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. But I was like the last 100 years.
Yeah, no.
About, dog?
Yeah, but I mean,
slow down on that Guinness.
Yeah. Chill. Daddy, chill. Okay. But no, congratulations to Philadelphia.
Yeah, congrats.
To the Eagles. But what do you feel about them like rioting?
Oh, like that's Philly. Like,
yeah, that's Philly.
That's
but
a Philly thing. Like,
it is a Philly thing.
Should you riot? No. Like, should you damage people's businesses? No.
No.
Should you damage people's property? No. But like, is it expected because it's Philadelphia?
Is it funny that you take down street signs? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I like that part, but like not messing up people's business.
Yeah, and like firebombing shit. Like, no.
But do I like
that?
Flipping a car? Yes or no?
Does the insurance cover the car flip?
I feel like that's got to be like a Philly special. They should call that the Philly special. Yeah. In case of any
$30 a month.
In case of any Philadelphia sports championship, my car and home are covered.
Okay. Then
I think
Yeah, if insurance covers it, will it be a pain in the ass? Yes. But also if you get up for work and you're like, hey man.
Could you imagine getting up for work after the big game and it's your car that got flipped?
Yeah.
This place.
And then you're like, my car got flipped. I can't come into work. And you take a picture of it.
Hey, yo, boss, I can't go in.
Boss. The writing, not good. But they definitely deserve more credit than I feel like they got, because it seems like the whole narrative for the whole Super Bowls was how much the Chiefs were going to win by. The 3-peat talk was going on and on.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't hear a single word about anyone talking about how the Eagles are going to come in and do anything or even have a close game. Okay. Nothing.
I always thought it was going to be like a just brutal, because I knew the Eagles defense was good. They proved it was good. But I thought the Chiefs defense leading up to that game was really good. I mean, they shut down Josh Allen and their tush pushes. Like, I thought the Chiefs had. And like when you have Andy Reid, you have one of the best offensive coaches ever. And Steve Spagnuolo was one of the best defensive coordinators that we've had in the NFL in a while, because he's been shutting down a ton of good players in the AFC. But the Eagles are just built bigger, badder, meaner.
Yeah.
And they play a style of football that is we're going to run it down your throat with the best running back in the NFL. You're not going to stop us. Oh, and when we have a guaranteed first down when it's 4th and short, you're never going to stop us.
Yeah. And like they were going for it though. They were throwing the ball.
This was, if anybody won the big game for any resumes, it was Jalen Hurts.
You think?
I know it.
I mean, he was just connecting, dude.
Well, and like they said, we're going to shut down Saquon. And he said, okay, I'm going to still throw. I'm still going to hit every pass. I'm going to rush for 70 yards myself. He was incredible. And he was incredible 2 years ago. And his big game numbers are through the roof. He might not be great in the regular season. I'm saying like Mahomes or Josh Allen, great.
Yeah.
But he is great when it matters most. And that's what you want with your QB. So the Eagles are set.
With that, let's go over our bets, because we had some bets out there. It was not purple. I heard a point of contention about the color of the Gatorade, that it looked yellow, but then it was also possibly green.
So they actually they snuck it, because the players were getting behind Sirianni. They showed it before the dunk.
Really?
Just kind of like as they were holding it, kind of waved, and they saw the yellow.
Yeah.
And I saw that and I was like, Drew blew it. Drew missed it.
I do.
That was probably the only thing you missed, though. We sucked as a unit, not just me.
That's Eddie. It was a bunk ass Betty.
Xavier Worthy over 4.5 rushing yards. Big L. Patrick Mahomes over 6.5 rushing yards. I think that was a win. Jalen Hurts anytime score. That was a win. Jalen Hurts under 1.5 touchdown passes. That was an L. Chiefs minus 1.5. That was me, and that was a big fat whopping L. However, the over, I called that.
Oh, okay.
And I was right.
But most of the points were on the...
It doesn't matter where the points... it doesn't matter where the points come from. When you bet, it doesn't matter. Saquon anytime score. In a game with over 40 points from the Eagles, not one.
Which was crazy. That was a crazy one.
Harrison Butker, 1.5 field goals.
Easily.
He didn't kick a single thing.
He didn't?
He did the kickoffs.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right.
Because they scored 3 touchdowns.
For 2.
And they went for 2 twice.
Yep.
They didn't kick a single field goal because they didn't make it over the 50-yard line until the third quarter.
I think that if you're losing that bad, you go for the long kick. I think if you're at the 40, you go for it, dude.
They didn't pass the 50 until the third quarter.
No, I'm talking about like their 40. Like you go for the long kick, dude.
What, a 70-yarder?
Dude, if you need points. See, this is this is my problem with the the conservative methods in which a lot of these people come by. Like sports momentum and games.
Momentum's a real thing.
It's and also
a huge part of sports.
And also just having those moments in which you go for something that traditionally doesn't work. You need to go for that, especially when you're at that big of a deficit. I'll never forget. I think it was a Pat Hill Fresno State game. They were down by 10, I think. There was like 3 minutes left on the clock. And instead of, or it was like 3 minutes left, they were down by 10. They had to score, right? And they were like 40 yards out. It was like a 4th and 8. And they punted the ball. And I'm like,
oh no, I hate that.
You need to go for it in order to win, dude.
Well, the Chiefs went for it on like 4th and 5 in the third quarter. And they threw this sloppy out route, which slow is behind. And it was just Mahomes at the end of the day missing a throw. He was open, but like an out route's a horrible play in the sense of like, if you underthrow it, it's going for 6. He was lucky that wasn't his second pick 6. The guy put his hand on it and everything. But like Patrick Mahomes probably played the worst game a quarterback can play in a Super Bowl since I can't tell you when.
Right.
Like he was so bad. And like the last time he lost in the big game against the Bucks, nobody blamed him essentially. His numbers weren't great, but it was because he literally didn't have a chance to throw.
Right.
And he was falling away, chucking prayers and hoping it worked. This one, he was just bad.
Yeah.
He was just bad. And so that killed a lot of people's bets, and mine included.
So I'm not gonna go into the details, but good friend of mine, John Clapp. Shout out John Clapp. Maybe lost a little bit on this. When I say a little bit, I mean a little bit.
Yeah. My potential little bit is genuinely a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm a tightwad.
I don't know if his little bit was too little. But like he's a legitimate Chiefs fan, has been his whole life, like since he was a kid. So like he's been a Chiefs fan for decades.
So he's been insufferable for the last 10 years.
Yeah. Especially these past 10 years, right? He was so sure. And I'm like, buddy, it's funny because I just had a feeling in my gut they were going to get worked over. Because the whole, again, can't stress this enough, the whole narrative was all about the Chiefs. No one was talking about the Eagles. I'm like, when you downplay your competition, when you underestimate your enemy, is when you lose. And I feel like everyone was just underestimating the Eagles.
You knew the Chiefs were in trouble the second the teams got announced. Yeah, John Hamm and everybody was like, the Chiefs, and his voice cracked. And it was like, doesn't look good, John.
No.
And John Hamm's a great actor.
I'm down with him. I'm a Hamm stan.
I can't stand him because he plays such a good villain.
Yeah.
Which is why I hate him.
Baby Driver.
But he's
great villain.
The movie in Boston.
The Town.
The Town. Hated him because he was such a good villain.
He is a good villain.
Can't stand him.
Also, the last season of Fargo, great asshole.
Yeah. That's exactly what he is. Then Bradley Cooper and his daughter.
Oh, yeah. And Bradley Cooper crushed that. E-A-G-L.
The second he started that, he should get a ring. He should get a ring.
The Coop came out. Did we ever figure out who was the first celebrity that they showed?
I thought it was Donald.
I don't think it was Donald.
I don't think it was Taylor.
I mean, would John Hamm technically count?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I know. We got to find out. So
wow, John Hamm at plus 5,000.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, man. I'm just going to go ahead and once again say I called it.
You called it.
I called it. I was very well. The whole time I was laughing when I was watching this game. And every single step, every single interception, every single thing that happened, I was laughing. I just kept on laughing. I was like, oh my God. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, dude. But you know what? It was an unprecedented night. I enjoyed it just because I was right.
Well, just football you enjoy.
Yeah.
You just enjoy, as a dude, you just enjoy football. As an American, you enjoy the big game.
Sarah thinks, she knows that I'm a very casual sports fan, but like there are some things that I get excited for. The big game was one. Now, I've been eating like shit for a week, so coming up on the next episode of the Do Over podcast, me and you be talking about something, shedding off these pounds. Get ready for Maui.
Zell Bizzles.
Tropic like it's hot.
That's not bad. I was thinking Magnum PR.
I like that too.
Yeah. See, look at us brainstorming.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So, and also let's discuss how kind of we're in a lull. NFL's done. We got basketballs.
The NBA All-Star is going on this weekend, and the NBA All-Star is lifeless.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know how you fix it at this point, but the NBA is already dealing with a ratings problem.
Yeah.
Not enough people are watching. Too many teams are throwing up threes.
Well, people will want to watch the Lakers play now and see how that's
absolutely. And the Mavs, their team is getting just more and more injured. They've got about 3 different players just out for several weeks.
Oh,
Anthony Davis might need season-ending surgery. Yeah, how's that trade looking now?
Yeah.
Idiots. It's so stupid. But hey, the Mavs are in a win-now situation. Okay. So stupid.
So look, we'll circle back next week. We'll bring some good sports stories to the table.
Should we cover quickly the halftime show?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
What'd you think?
If I'm to be real.
I
don't think it was the greatest one in the world.
I don't either.
But I do like that he performed his own shit. That like he went out there and he did his thing and he didn't do it over. He didn't lip sync. He didn't lip sync his rhymes.
No.
He went out there and did it. And he did what all of us assumed he wasn't going to do. And he played that song. Even called him out by name.
My hot take of the show?
Yeah.
SZA saved the halftime show.
Really?
I think so. Because the first 15 minutes of it, it was like, okay. And granted, I was at work, so it wasn't at like full volume.
Right.
So I was like the only person in there because any restaurant in the big game is quiet. But it just felt kind of eh. It was very Kendrick. Yeah. And then she comes out and her voice is insanely beautiful.
Yeah.
And then all the stars plays and you're just like,
well, they had Sam L out there. Yeah. Having Sam L out there, that helps.
Yeah.
But honestly,
it felt like a Super Bowl performance, not a Super Bowl show.
No. That's a good way.
Like the Weeknd
to go out about.
The Weeknd.
He put on a show. Yeah.
Shakira and J-Lo.
Show.
Yeah. Like he was a performance.
He was performing.
He was a performance.
And like there's been other like rap centric shows in the past that had a lot of people.
The Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige. That was a show.
Well, and Mary J. Blige came out there and showed all these young bitches what she can do. And she destroyed.
Mary J. Blige is so incredibly talented.
Oh yeah, no, it was crazy. And she was doing that. And see, that's really my barometer. Like my base level is if you're going to be a musician, you need to go out there and do it for real.
Yeah.
You can't go in there because all these pop stars, the Taylor Swifts and all of them, they don't sing. They go in there and they dance around and they lip sync over their songs pre-recorded. I will give him credit that he went out there and he did his own rhymes.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing pre-recorded shit. He went out there and did it. At the same time, it's like it wasn't like you said. I think you summed it up the best. It wasn't a show and it was kind of like, meh.
It was a performance.
And Sarah's like, what? I'm like, it's Kendrick Lamar, well, like, I don't know what to say.
And my thing, and like, I will say this, when everybody shouted A minor, that's getting the whole crowd. And like, that was cool.
Yeah.
And when he looked at the camera, he was like, say Drake. And I was like, that's funny.
Yeah. No. Like, and the fact that he did it was.
Yeah, right. For sure.
Yeah.
I will say, and I know he's not your guy, but when you're in New Orleans, you should have gotten Lil Wayne.
He would have put on a show, though. He would have put on a show. Because all of his music is with other people. You know what I mean?
And he's from the area.
Yeah.
You're in the Superdome. You get somebody from the area who's hyped about it and who was genuinely upset. He even came out in articles and was like, I'm genuinely sad.
Yeah, that they didn't ask
me.
him.
Yeah. Which Lil Wayne, studio-wise, great. Live-wise, maybe not so great.
Yeah.
But you're telling me for the big game, Young Money coming out wouldn't have been sick?
Well, and it's also momentum, dude. We talk about momentum in sports, dude. He just won 5 Grammys. Like,
yeah,
you have the hottest musician in the world.
He's literally the
right
hottest hip hop artist on the planet.
On the planet, right?
Just coming off Grammy win. So I get it. It was just like, it was fine.
It was just fine.
Especially when like, because the halftime shows are going on, you start seeing some of the old ones. And actually, Super Bowl average records 127.7 million viewers.
Right.
So it's one of the biggest ones ever, right? When you look at ones in the past and it was like Prince, Michael Jackson, you had U2.
U2 did one.
Yeah.
Creed. No, well, that was a Super
Creed
Bowl.
was a Thanksgiving show.
Yeah, that was a Thanksgiving show.
Still to this day, is the greatest show ever. The bald guy flying. Yeah, to this day is the best one ever. But I mean, like, it just felt like the whole game felt like a performance and not a show.
Yeah. No, I think.
And even the commercials sucked.
Yeah, the commercials. A lot of them were like teasers for the full commercial online anyways.
Yeah, like,
they're getting smarter now.
They're getting lazier now.
I think it's cheaper for them to do that.
That's what I mean. Lazier.
Yeah. So there you go. Taps and Takes, episode 4.
It's in the books.
It's in the books. And yes, I do want you to like and subscribe and comment. Do that. Yes, I want you to be aware. And then like 30 days time, we're going to be taking over Groggs on St. Patrick's Day.
Just a wee bit.
Just a wee bit.
Just a wee bit.
Maybe with the drunky Jess and Elliott. Okay. And maybe you, if you want to jump on the mic as well. That might be a little bit dicey, but cool as well. Could be fun. So keep that in mind. Details on that to come. All the links to all of our Patreon and all that stuff, it's up there. But really what helps us the most is sharing it with your friends.
Yes.
Liking, subscribing.
Like and subscribe.
Help us get to YouTube partner. And thank you to all the people on Spotify. And thank you to all our Patreon members. And most of all, thanks to Groggs. Traditional Irish pub, the northeast corner of Willow and Knees. Go by, get yourself a Guinness.
Get a Guinness.
Do a little tippy tap. Bink, bink. Look, Mom, 0 alcohol.
0.
Don't trip.
Yeah.
So until next week, gotta go, love you. Bye.